Hello, welcome to my channel, or if you're a subscriber, welcome back. My name is Marcia, and this is Gather and Stitch. Okay, so I have had a few fails lately. I have been trying some new patterns, and they have not been working out for me. So I decided to make a couple tried and true dresses because I love making dresses. That's my happy place. And my husband and I might be going on a trip to Italy in a few months. Let's hope. Things are kind of crazy in the United States right now, and we just don't know if it's going to be canceled or not. So um, keep your fingers crossed for me because I would really love to go back to Italy. But anywho, I have made a couple of one of my tried and true patterns, and that is Simplicity 8014. And my first view that I made was view D right here with the curved hem. And I think it's the view that she's wearing right here. Let me look. Yes, it is the view that she's wearing right here with the curved hem. But I lengthened mine. I think I added about 10 inches so that it was midi length on me because that's just what I prefer. And I was trying to copy a dress that I saw on Pinterest, and I'll pop a picture of the inspo dress in here. But I wanted to make a toile of this so that I didn't, mess up with my inspo fabric when it comes in. So I made this with some cotton lawn that I've had in my stash. And this is it. And I had some scraps of this blue cotton shirting that I've been hanging on to, little scraps that you're like, they're too big to throw away, but they're not big enough to make anything out of. So I decided to pop those on the back of the collar of this dress. Now, like I said, I did add 11 inches to the hem of this dress. And what I did was I just, on the pattern piece for the bottom part of the skirt, I cut off right before the hem, because there is a facing. Okay, there is a facing for the scooped out part of the bottom of the dress. So what I did is I just cut it off straight right before you get to the scoop part, and I added like 10 inches to it, and then taped the bottom back on, trued up the sides, and went from there. So I will pop in a little twirl picture of what it looks like on. I am really happy with it. I think that it is a good choice for my inspiration picture that I was trying to replicate. The inspiration picture has slits that go up the side, and I think that that would be no problem to do that with the curved hem and the facing. You just, make a facing that goes up the side and around the split, and I don't think that would be too hard for me to do. But I wasn't sure how this pattern would look, or actually how this silhouette would look on me, because I like my dresses with a little bit of a fuller skirt, and this is definitely more of a straight skirt. It does have a slight A-line, but it is definitely a straighter skirt than what I normally prefer on my dresses. So I wanted to see how the silhouette would look on me before I ordered my striped fabric that I wanted to use to replicate my inspiration picture. So, I made this. It, you know, I love it. I love it. It's one of my tried and true patterns for a reason. And I will tell you, I have made several alterations to this pattern so that it fits me like I want it to fit me. And I have my little sheet here where I'll tell you what alterations I've made. Okay, so like I said, this is view C. Oh, okay, so I did make view C, but no, I made view D because I made it with the collar and the curved hem. So view D. I made a size 20. I did a 1/2 inch tall adjustment on the bodice. That's on the bodice above the bust line. I extended that by 1/2 inch to give me more length from, you know, my upper bust area, my upper chest area, to make it a little longer. I shortened the waist by 2.5 inches. I shortened the waist 2.5 inches so that the waist of the dress would hit me where I like the waists to hit me on my body. And I did a broad shoulder adjustment of 1/2 inch, and I lengthened the skirt by 10 inches and used the curved hem. So, and those are, now this view, which I have made before, only I have made it in the regular length. I make different adjustments on this view than I do on the longer view with the fuller skirt. And one of the reasons is because this view here, view C and view D, the bodice and the skirt is all one pattern piece. And view A and B, they're two different pattern pieces. You have a bodice pattern pieces and you have the skirt pattern pieces. So I made different adjustments on the fuller skirted view than I did on the straight skirt view. So yes, I'm very happy with this. I think it will be easy, breezy, and you know, I love my dresses. You know, if you've watched my channel for any length of time, you know that I love dresses. So, and this fabric is a little busy for me, but it is in my color palette. You know, I love working within my color palette. I used some gold buttons that I got at Joann's, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago that I never used. So, and I think I used 8 or 9 buttons. I placed the buttons myself. I do not follow the pattern piece for the button or buttonhole adjustments because I like to have a button right here at my bust where my bust is at its widest so that it doesn't pucker. So that is not gaping. And then I like to have a button a little bit further down on the widest part of my waist or my tummy so that I know that won't be a pucker. So then I adjust my buttonholes to fit within those two for sure button placements. And so I had enough. I don't remember if it was 8 or 9 buttons, but I had enough of these gold buttons, which I really liked. I think they go well. I had those in my stash as well. I am really trying to use my stash, you guys. As you can see behind me, it is basically floored, and I'll move my camera up. It is basically floor to ceiling fabric. You can, you see? So I really do not need to be buying any more fabric, but we know that sewing and fabric buying are two different hobbies, don't we? But if that's not enough, I'm sitting here looking at more fabric. I have this is my sewing room, and it doubles as a guest room sometimes when we have you know, during holidays, when I have extended family coming in to town, and I do have to use this, my sewing room, as a bedroom. So I have 2 twin beds in here as well, and both twin beds have fabric piled on them as well. So I really need to sew what I have before I buy any more fabric. But I did buy striped fabric because I wanted to replicate this dress that I saw in striped fabric, and I did not have the striped fabric that I thought that I was happy with to create my vision. You know what I'm saying? So I had to buy that striped fabric. But I think it's the first fabric I've bought all year, and it's almost and it's March basically, so it'll be March when you're seeing this, and so I think I'm doing okay. My husband says he doesn't care. My husband really doesn't care how much fabric I buy, but you know, I'm a reasonable person, and my fabric stash is ridiculous. So if I think my fabric stash is ridiculous, it really is, because I'm a maximalist. So anyway, I digress, but there's that. So the second dress I made using this pattern was I believe it's view A. It's view A. And I'll just grab it here. I made this also using fabric in my stash. And it's a check or gingham. I don't know how you want to, I think it falls into a couple of different categories. But anyway, I'm going with kind of a color palette because I'm hoping that I'll be taking this on a trip. And I like to stay within a color palette when I travel, because that way I'm not taking, you know, 150 pieces of clothing and everything goes together. So that's what I was thinking on these. So basically, I just started pulling fabric out of my stash that I thought would make a good capsule-ish wardrobe, and yeah. So this is the dress I made with the longer skirt. And it's made out of a cotton lawn as well, with the short sleeves. Now you can make long sleeves on this pattern, and you can roll it up and have a tab that you can button it back, and I have made that version before. And you can just do the collar stand and not put the collar on, which is what I made in that version. But in both of these versions, I did add the collar. This is the bodice piece, and then the skirt. It does have pockets. I did not put pockets on the straighter skirt one because that was my toile, and I just didn't cut the pockets out on that one. And I ended up and it fit well enough that I ended up finishing it like I would a regular dress, but I didn't want to go back and rip out the seams, the side seams, and put the pockets in. So that one doesn't have pockets, but this one does. She's beautiful. I have one of my sweary labels in here, and let me see. I do have one of my sweary labels in, but some of the letters are already blocked out. So there's one of my, it says sewing is the effing best. And that's a Kylie in the Machine label. Now this pattern does not have you cut 2 yokes out. But I cut 2 yokes out, and I did the burrito method on this version because that's just really how I really like the finish of the 2 yokes and the burrito method. Whenever I can finish my garments that way, I do. Okay, so on view A, I did make some alterations to the pattern. And let me tell you what I did there. On view A, I sewed a size 18. I have a 1/2 inch full bust adjustment. I did, on both patterns, I did a 3-inch bicep adjustment. And normally I don't have to make that big of an adjustment in the biceps on Simplicity patterns. I can't even remember where I've ever made a 3-inch full bust adjustment, but for some reason on this pattern, I had to make, I had to have a 3-inch adjustment on the bicep. So it is what it is, right? I shortened the waist by 2 inches on this view. And I shortened the sleeves on both views by 2 inches. They're too long. They hit me, they were covering the crease of my elbow, the short sleeves were, and I didn't like that. I wanted them, well above my elbow. So I shortened the sleeves by 2 inches on both dresses. And let's see. And I also did a 1/2 inch broad back adjustment on this view, and I used a 3/8 inch seam allowance on this pattern. So I did not have to make a tall bodice adjustment on this view like I did on the other view. So like I said, the pattern pieces are different. They're 2 different dresses, so just when in doubt, make a toile. So yeah, so I'm really happy with my 2 new dresses. I'm going to continue on. I have a list of pieces that I want to make that will fit into my capsule wardrobe and will serve me well if we go on this trip. And if we don't go on this trip, they'll be beautiful addition to my spring and summer wardrobe. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you get some sewing in. I I hope that all your makes turn out to be a beautiful additions to your wardrobe, and we will see you next time. Bye!